Firstly, my name is Kim and this is Michaela.
Hi.
And we work in the Faculty of Science. We do quite a few things actually. So we work in student recruitment. So we speak about what it's like studying the courses in science. We are also responsible for the selection of science into the science faculty as well. So anything ATAR and VTAC related, we can certainly help you with that. So today's session is, it will be a general overview of the science courses, the ATARs for this year. We'll look at a couple of special consideration programs, and we'll also show you something that you may or may not know about. So hopefully it will be a tip that you can pick up, and we'll look at pathways as well. So for those of you that may be wanting to use science as a pathway into another program, or for those of you that may not achieve, the ATAR that you want to, and you're looking at plan A, B, I should say plan B and C for your VTAC application. So let's get started. So the first slide, hang on just 1 minute, is this one. So this just gives you an overview of all our programs. So we have three science degrees, two of which are double degrees. One has a focus on research, and the other one is global challenges, and it's a very unique program. We also have two programs in applied data science. So we have a 3-year program, and we say it's big brother or big sister, a 4-year advanced program. In the double degrees, we have 10 options. We love those. They're fantastic. They provide a great opportunity for career diversification, and the ability, I suppose, to structure exactly what you want to study is, it's fantastic. And then under the single degree category, we have other pathway programs. The Diploma of Higher Education, as you can see, I'll put a little heart next to that because that is my favourite pathway program into science. It's managed by our education faculty, but basically what the program is, it's the first year of the Bachelor of Science. So once you successfully complete that, you can transition straight into the second year of the Bachelor of Science. And for those of you that are interested in law, or a law science double degree, may not be able to attain that very, very high ATAR, there's a pathway that's available through that as well. Where you see the letters RC with an asterisk, what that means is it's a range of criteria. So it might mean something like an interview or a music audition, or there might be a supplementary information form that might be needed to be completed through VTAC. So there's just something else around the entry requirements for that particular program. Alrighty, so there are courses in a nutshell. And let's have a look at our VTAC subject adjustment bonus. Can I just see a show of hands? Who has heard of this before, the VTAC subject adjustment? Just having a look. Okay. All right, a few of you. Oh, hang on, sorry. Fantastic. All right, for those of you that aren't aware of it, let's have a look at it. So we offer this for our Bachelor of Science and for most of the double degrees as well, except for commerce, law, and biomedical science. So how it works is we recognise your passion for science and we reward you by adding bonus points to your aggregate study score if you study more than one science subject in Year 12. So for entry into the Bachelor of Science, our subject prerequisite is one science subject, and that's out of, hopefully I remember them all, biology, chemistry, physics, maths methods, specialist maths, I'm counting them on my fingers, by the way, geography, environmental science, and psychology. So if you study more than one of those, you will be eligible for a subject adjustment bonus, and the points are added to your aggregate. It's a maximum number of points of 8. It does reflect differently depending upon the ATAR, but we sort of look at it in if you receive a maximum number of points of 8, it may influence your ATAR by, could be anything from say 2.5 to 4 points, depending on what your ATAR is. So the higher your ATAR, the less influence it will have. And what it does, so your ATAR remains your ATAR, but it raises the rank of your ATAR. So we have an example here, but before we go on to that, having a look at the subject adjustment tool for science, VTAC also have a tool as well, and we'll be having a look at that too. So this is one I prepared earlier because it's a little difficult going in and out of a webinar onto a different page. So let's have a look here. Oh, sorry about this. Okay, I have kept the URL up the top here, so if you feel free to note that down. And this is the Monash Bachelor of Science Subject Adjustment Tool. It is an estimate, so I do need to add that caveat. So Jordan, who completed VCE, so he had maths methods at 35, which were input, biology at 32. He studied chemistry and achieved a 38 and a 36 for geography. His ATAR here was 80, and you can see that he has been eligible for 8, which is the maximum subject adjustment points. And how that affected his ATAR, it ended up raising the rank to 84.85. Now, I just want you to bear in mind that this is an estimate. It's based on last year's aggregate to ATAR, so it won't be exact for reflecting into 2022 because we don't actually receive those until 2022. But it's a really handy tool. So the other option is to have a look at the VTAC subject adjustment tool. It's a good idea to use this one first, so you then know the number of points that you're eligible for. And this here is the VTAC tool. Again, I've added the URL up here. I'm hoping you can see this because I've added in Jordan's ATAR. The range is 80 to 80.95. We know that he is eligible for 8 adjustment points, and then this brings the range here, so 84.65 to 85.5. So whilst his ATAR is 80, it just lifts the rank of his ATAR to this particular level here. So I hope that helps, and they're great. Please take a note of those URLs. They're fantastic tools to use at the end of the year, and yeah, hopefully can give you a little bit of a boost if you need it. All right, you know what? I think what we might do is just stop here. Does anyone have any questions about that?
There was a fantastic question in there already, Kim, which I think everyone should know. Is the subject adjustment bonus just for Monash or for all unis?
Oh, fantastic question. Excellent. Mm-hmm. Some universities do offer a subject adjustment, some don't. Some programs offer a subject adjustment and some don't. So when you're undertaking your research, it's really important to have a look at all the details for that particular program because it's definitely not across the board for every university and for every degree. Were there any others?
Yeah,
my eyes are a little bit, yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Do we have to apply for this? Do we have to apply for the subject adjustment bonus?
No, you don't have to apply for it. And that's what's brilliant for us, actually, when we're undertaking the VTAC selection. All the information is in this, what looks to be a huge Excel spreadsheet, and the algorithms have been determined in the back end of the program. So as soon as your results come in through the VTAC work list, it's already automated and it's worked out for us. So we don't have to do it. You don't have to apply for it. It's applied automatically.
Sunny also has another great question, which is, does the subject adjustment bonus work for science and engineering double degrees?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So the only double degrees it's not applicable to is science commerce, science law, and science biomedical science. Excellent. All right, let's move on to the next part. So we'll have a quick look at the special consideration programs. Now, I'm sure you've probably been informed about these through your careers teachers, but I thought we'll just go through them quickly anyway. So the first one, the Special Entry Access Scheme known as CEASE, which is applied through via VTAC, provides special consideration for students who have experienced disadvantage during Year 12. I did hear on the news that there's some updated news regarding this for those of you in Year 12 for 2021, but I won't talk about it because I'm not the expert. At an absolute minimum, we suggest that everyone applies and that you tick the Category 1 box. So the Category 1 box will look at the school that you attend and also your address as far as location is concerned. CEASE works by adding points to the aggregate study score, just as the same as our subject adjustment bonus in the last slide did. And all applications and assessment takes place through VTAC. My understanding is VTAC opens, I think, on the 2nd of August and the applications close for the CEASE applications on the 8th of October. Then there's another special consideration program called the Monash Guarantee, and this is a Monash University only program. And what we do is we provide a lower ATAR for students who have experienced financial disadvantage, live in a low socioeconomic area, Indigenous, or attended a Monash underrepresented school. The Monash Guarantee is determined either through the VTAC CEASE application by ticking the relevant category boxes, such as we suggested before, that minimum Category 1 box, or it's automatically applied through the VTAC application. If you are, if you have experienced financial disadvantage, or there may be some medical conditions, please be aware that you do need to upload as much documentary evidence as possible into your VTAC application so that it can be assessed. And so if we have a look at the Bachelor of Science, so the clearly in ATAR, or the published ATAR, is 85, but with the Monash Guarantee, the ATAR is 75. So what I thought we'd do is we would run through an example and just to show you how that actually works. Sorry, my throat's getting a bit... Okay, so on the Monash website, and the URL is here, we have an ATAR and CEASE calculator. And so what we've done is, sorry, just bear with me a second. We've given you an example. So Julie's Jordan's cousin. She's aiming for an ATAR of 75. And so she popped onto the Monash ATAR Calculator, CEASE calculator website. And again, this is an estimate, and just input her information to see if it made any difference at all. So she entered her ATAR up here of 75. So Julie is 18, so she's under 21. She's not Indigenous, and she's not from a non-English speaking background. She then entered her address into the calculator, which then changed the rank, or changed her ATAR to 84.45. She added in her school. And so you can see just by entering in an address and a school, how much difference that already made to her ATAR that she was aiming for. So if we have a look at the next part of this calculator, okay. Julie did have some financial disadvantage throughout the year. She didn't have any medical conditions that impacted her study, and her and her family did also suffer some difficult circumstances. So by entering in this information here, it then took her ATAR to 85, which is the maximum number of points that you can receive for your ATAR. Can only be 10 points more, or 20 aggregate points. So this is another interesting tool just to have up your sleeve to try that towards the end of the year to see if it will have an impact on you. So Julie, in a nutshell, she did achieve 75, but because of the situation that she encountered this year, we would be able to make her an offer at 85. So that is how that particular calculator works. And again, it is an estimation, but just another tip and a tool for you to have as well. Alrighty, we might stop it there and see, were there any questions relating to...
There sure is. So there's another good one, which I think you've already answered, which is, do we have to apply for Cs?
Yes, you do. You do have to apply for Cs. And we recommend everyone apply for Cs, whether or not you think you're eligible. And we also recommend that you tick that category 1 box, which looks at things such as an individual's age, whether or not they're mature age, where they're living, the school that they're going to. And so without realising it, that may have an impact and a little bit of a boost as well. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, there's some actually really good ones here, Kim.
I hope I can answer them. It's a bit scary.
So one of our attendees has asked, is it uni specific? Is the C's application uni specific?
No, it's not. The C's application, because it's assessed by VTAC, there's no bias towards any particular school or university. The only difference is our Monash guarantee and there will be other universities that have similar programs and they will assess those differently to how Monash do.
Cool, excellent. Does disability count only for you, or is it applicable if an immediate family member has a disability? Might be a question.
That is a very good question, actually, because I think most applicants will look at the CESE application as it relates to them personally. It's still, if you have a family member that has a disability that has impacted your study throughout the year, then yes, I strongly recommend that you submit an application, because that has influenced your ability to study throughout the year. So yeah, it will definitely have an impact. We've seen situations where students have had parents and the students have had to step up to undertake caring responsibilities. That certainly does have an impact on your study throughout the year. So yes, absolutely. Any others?
2 more. No. So we've got what happened. I know, I'm fine. They're really great questions. What happens if you're from a non-English background but are born in Australia?
What happens? Okay. Where are we? Okay, so if we're going back to the Monash tool here, where are we? Oh, you were born in Australia. Sorry, the question, you were born in Australia, but you come from a non-English speaking background?
That is correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Your background is English speaking if you were born in Australia, but your family obviously speak another language at home, but you would be considered from an English speaking background because you were born in Australia. So your schooling has been in English, whether it be primary and secondary. It's just that the language that's spoken at home is not English. So you would be ticking this one here.
Cool, thanks, that's great. One more, can you use both the Monash guarantee and C's, or only one or the other?
Remember this question, Michaela?
Yeah.
So the Monash guarantee is the maximum number of points. So if you're eligible for Monash guarantee, then there will be no access to CESE. However, having said that, if you're not eligible for the Monash guarantee, you are actually eligible for a combination of CESE and subject adjustment. So the minimum ATAR that we can make an offer to is 10 points below, minimum ATAR we can make an offer to is 10 points below the clearly in or the published ATAR. So our Monash guarantee, most of those are 10 points. if you have subject adjustment and cease, you can combine those for a 10 points as well. So it can get a little bit confusing. It's just, I suppose, the main thing to remember is that if, say, for the Bachelor of Science is 85, we can only make an offer, the minimum ATAR we can make an offer to is 75. Sometimes students will approach us and say, I had a 67 and I'm eligible for all this subject adjustment and I'm eligible for all this cease. But unfortunately, we can't make you an offer because it's an admissions policy that we cannot make an offer 10 points under our clearly in or our published ATAR. So, yeah. Okay.
Oh, wow, there's so many. There's so many coming through, but we probably have to keep moving. So I'll answer some of those and then
okay.
And then we'll see.
All right, so we'll have a look at pathways now. So this is, I think it's really important to think about Plan B and Plan C and even Plan D. And so these are the main pathways that we recommend. So I mentioned before the Diploma of Higher Education, which is brilliant, and we will go into that in a little bit more detail. It is essentially the first year of the Bachelor of Science with 2 education subjects, which it's great. The single university units are for mature age applicants only. So applicants that are age 21 plus, they can study 2 single science university units for entry. And then some students might use an internal or an external course transfer. So they might go to another university and study maybe for a semester or for a year, or they might apply for a different Monash course and then use an internal transfer into the Bachelor of Science. We also accept TAFE qualifications as well, that meaning a Certificate 4 and a diploma. Having said that, the TAFE qualifications need to be graded. So we don't accept, or I should say Monash doesn't accept competency-based qualifications from TAFE. And what we tend to recommend, if you are thinking of going down that pathway, are 2 programs at Swinburne. One of them is the Diploma of Science and it's Unilink, which is a CSP place. And the other one is a Certificate 4 in Science, because both of those programs are graded. And we'll go into a little bit more detail actually about that now. So if we look at the Diploma of Higher Education, ATAR of at least 60, there's a VTAC personal statement that must be submitted, and that is part of the application process. So if you don't submit or you forget submitting that personal statement, unfortunately your application won't be looked at. And basically it's about why you want to study science and why you want to study it at Monash, and that's what you need to include in your statement. And as I mentioned before, our transition from this program is direct into either the second year of the Bachelor of Science or the second year of the Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Education, double degree. And then looking at in a bit more detail of the internal and external transfers. So provided the entry requirements have been met, you can study a bachelor degree in another Monash faculty, or you can study a science degree at another university. And again, it depends on your ATAR, but whether or not we would accept 1 semester or a full year of study. And then if we have a look at the TAFE qualifications, a science-based Certificate 4, and as I mentioned, Swinburne will really like me for this, but it's a Certificate 4 in Science and we require an average of 80%. It also meets the English language requirement as well as the science subject prerequisite. And then the other qualification is a science-based diploma. And because diplomas are considered to be equivalent to first year bachelor degree, we then require an average result of 60%. And again, Swinburne thanking me, but the Diploma of Science at Swinburne, and it is called Unilink. We strongly recommend that one if you would like to take that pathway. And it is Commonwealth supported place. Just another, if you're looking at pathways and you do see Diploma of Science in your Googling, some of them will be full fee and they will be at university colleges. Just be aware, They're about, I think, $26,000, and it is full fee, so that's why we like Swinburne's Unilink program. But our preference is definitely the Diploma of Higher Education at Monash. And then the 2 single university units for mature age applicants, depending on whether the English language requirement has been met. One might be an English rich unit, the other one would need to be science, or they could be both science with a 60% average. So I'll leave that there for the detail of the pathways. We have a gorgeous little QR code here with our little dinosaur in the middle. We've become very fond of him. Basically, that QR code will link you to this URL here. So what Michaela and I have done is we have trawled the Monash University website and we have grabbed everything that we think is really important about studying science. All the tools that I've showed you today are on this site. There's a whole range of different information. So there's also the opportunity to make an appointment to speak with us one-on-one, or if you'd love to have a chat with one of our current students, you can do that via Zoom or via phone, completely up to you, and we can organise a chat there as well. And then if you'd like to send us an email, we have our contact details at the bottom there.